Behind the RedLine, Episode 82. The Ciudad Juárez Femicides. Ciudad Juárez, Mexico. Hundreds of women murdered. Decades of silence. A crime without an ending. There are places where violence leaves scars, and there are places where it leaves nothing. Outside Ciudad Juárez, the desert stretches flat and endless. Pale sand, scrub brush, industrial roads fading into heat haze. It is quiet. There are no buildings to remember, no neighbors to hear screams, no walls to hold evidence. For decades, women have been found here, sometimes buried shallowly, sometimes left exposed, sometimes never found at all. They were daughters, students, factory workers, sex workers, teenagers, and one by one, their names were folded into statistics or erased completely. This is not the story of a single killer. This is the story of a city where violence against women became routine, where disappearance became predictable, and where justice became conditional. Ciudad Juárez exists because of the border. It is a city designed for transit goods moving north into the United States, labor moving south into factories, people constantly arriving, leaving, disappearing. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Juárez became a center for maquiladoras, foreign-owned factories producing goods for export. These factories employed mostly young women. Why women? They were paid less, considered more manageable, less likely to unionize. By the mid-1990s, tens of thousands of women worked long shifts. Many traveled before sunrise or after dark. Public transport was unreliable or non-existent. Entire neighborhoods expanded faster than infrastructure. No streetlights, no sidewalks, sparse policing. This was not accidental. It was economic design without social protection. In the early 1990s, women began disappearing. At first, the cases were framed as isolated, a teenager who didn't return home, a factory worker missing after her shift, a body found outside the city. Then patterns emerged. Victims shared similarities. Young women, often teenagers or in their early 20s. Slim builds, long hair. Last seen commuting to or from work or school. Their bodies were found in the desert, near highways, on the outskirts of Juárez. Many showed signs of sexual assault, strangulation, severe violence. The numbers grew. Authorities insisted there was no serial pattern. Families knew otherwise. The women of Juárez were not nameless, but many were poor. Many were migrants from southern Mexico or Central America. Some were undocumented. Some worked in sex trade economies. This shaped everything. When families reported disappearances, they were told to wait, that their daughters likely ran away, that good girls don't disappear, Victim blaming replaced investigation. Officials suggested the women, dressed provocatively, lived dangerous lifestyles, invited harm. This narrative did two things. It absolved the system. It slowed investigations at the most critical moments. In serial violence, time is everything. Juárez lost time, deliberately. The desert outside Juárez became a recurring crime scene. It offered isolation, minimal witnesses, rapid evidence degradation. Some women were killed elsewhere and dumped. Others appeared to have been assaulted and murdered on site. Shallow graves, scattered clothing, bones exposed by wind and animals. Mine pits, ravines, and empty lots blurred jurisdictional responsibility. Who polices emptiness? By the time remains were found, identification was delayed. Evidence was compromised. Families waited months or years. The land absorbed the crime. Authorities periodically announced breakthroughs. Suspects were arrested. Confessions were claimed. But cases collapsed. Some confessions were extracted under torture. Evidence was mishandled or lost. DNA samples were contaminated or ignored. Families were excluded from proceedings. Bodies were misidentified. Cases were closed prematurely. Each failure deepened mistrust. And each failure signaled something dangerous. No one would be held accountable. Ciudad Juárez sits at the intersection of drug trafficking routes, organized crime, corrupt local policing, political instability. Witnesses were afraid to speak. Journalists were threatened. Activists were harassed or killed. Violence against women existed within a larger culture of impunity. When murder goes unpunished long enough, it becomes normalized. Predators notice. The question persists: was this the work of a serial killer? Multiple unrelated offenders? Organized networks exploiting women? The answer is likely all of the above, but focusing only on who misses the deeper truth. Juárez did not need a single monster. It created conditions where many could kill safely. That is more terrifying. The mothers of Juárez became activists. They marched through the city. They painted pink crosses on street corners. They held photographs of daughters whose names the state forgot. They demanded investigations. They demanded accountability. They demanded memory. Their grief became resistance. Without them, the world would not know this story. International organizations intervened. The word femicide entered global vocabulary. Reports were written. Hearings were held. Promises were made. And yet, disappearances continued. The structures remained intact. Justice arrived slowly, if at all. The Ciudad Juárez Femicides are not history. They are ongoing memory. Women still disappear. Families still search. The desert still waits. This is not a story about chaos. It is a story about whose lives are protected, whose deaths are investigated, and whose pain is considered acceptable. Behind the Red Line exists to say what systems would rather bury. Silence is not neutrality. Neglect is not accidental. And when violence is tolerated long enough, it becomes infrastructure.